I think you've made a blunder, sister. And that's why
I said I don't know the story.
I think she's made a blunder.
I
understand that, but let's try and do it in a more respectful way.
I think I'll be pretty respectful, my friend. I appreciate your respect.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, and she's with the crew.
Is this like the referee of Speaker's Corner?
Yeah, and what the heck is this? No, I mean, this is insane. I mean, she's with the crew that doxes people, tries to get people killed, does nothing but insults people. She's the one who was going, hey, let me get 21 cops in the chat. Where are my 21 cops at? Yeah, after the cops were beheaded by ISIS. And then it's, oh, but be more respectful. You're telling her she doesn't know what she's talking about because she clearly has no clue what she's talking about. Don't say it, though. Yeah. It'll embarrass her. Don't do that.
Yeah, we don't want that to come
She's
in the video,
a delicate flower. Guys.
By the way, Chris, they're only doing this because they know you've won. Muslims always go to the victim, playing the victim card when they have nothing else. So they make you now the villain. Oh, no, it wasn't that he won the point. No, he was just being rude. Yeah. It's rude to win a point. And they obviously, being American, I don't think they understand Speaker's Corner. Speaker's Corner is a place where you go and say anything.
Yeah, no, seriously.
We're not in your house, Itchy.
Yeah, you're here for a debate at Speaker's Corner. Chris could be way more condescending and insulting if he wanted to. Yeah, he's not. Absolutely. He's just telling her she's wrong and she has no clue what she's talking about. And this guy, you can't do that. You can't do that. Oh, 100% sure he can. And if you don't want her engaging, she can walk away.
In the New Testament, it says that Jesus was crucified, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, and the Quran says very clearly that he was not crucified, yeah?
No.
It doesn't say that he wasn't crucified?
No, it says, in regards to
hold on, 1 second. This is really important. Which is really important right here. Listen to what she asks Chris here, because this is very important for later on.
In the New Testament, it says that Jesus was crucified, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, and the Quran says very clearly that he was not crucified, yeah?
No.
It doesn't say that he wasn't crucified?
No, it says, in regards to the Jews...
That's the question.
Which is weird, because Jews don't believe in, they don't care about the crucifixion. Christians care about crucifixion, though. But Surah An-Nisa, Ayah 156, and a few verses before, the context is the Jews. And it says, the Jews, they say... And they boast that they killed the Messiah, but they did not kill him. It merely appeared to them.
They did not kill him nor crucify him. Rather, it was made to appear. So, yeah?
Yep.
They're over there. I think the guy's coming later. You can talk to him over there.
Let me explain.
Are you talking about my position? Are you going to talk about my position?
No, you asked me mine. You asked me mine. You said to me, what does 4157... You asked me what I thought. You said...
Yeah, she asked, do you agree?
Yeah.
She said, do you agree? And then Chris, no, I don't.
I didn't think that was going to kick off the whole thing.
And I would have to say, even if you read the Quran, you say it does sound like that, right? Her question was, the Quran clearly denies Jesus' crucifixion. Do you agree? Like even as a Muslim who is aware of what the Quran says and how other Muslims have interpreted that, you should say, I think it's denying the crucifixion, but I can't say it's terribly clear. Even Muslims differ on this. Why? Because when it's saying they didn't kill him, they interpreted this in the light of other verses like, do not say of those who are slain in the way of Allah that they are dead. They are alive. So there are Muslims who interpret it along those lines. Anyway, so yeah, you've got one verse, you've got another verse which says he did die. 355 says he did die. And then you have, what do you do with all this? What do you do with all this? Well, most Muslims have gone in the direction Itachi is going. There are others who didn't. I mean, Ismaili Shias, they kind of take for granted that the Quran is not denying Jesus' death by crucifixion. Anyway.
Saying he wasn't crucified, yes? And I said no, because that's not my view.
This is the worst type of dishonesty I've ever seen. Okay.
Well, you asked me a question about what I think of 1457, and I answered you.
You obviously know what we're talking about here, and you want to
If you said, what is your position, then I would tell you your position, because I know your position. If you ask me what is my position...
Chris, this is getting sad.
Hey guys, let's do 5 more minutes in this.
Yeah. We're going to go to something about that.
5 more minutes.
All right.
Guys, very clearly, okay, he knows what my position is. He very clearly said you're a Sunni Muslim. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm asking you to actually engage.
Rewind the tape. Did she say, what do I think?
I'm asking you to engage with...
Okay, guys, this is just insane. And I don't know if she's gaslighting or just actually this stupid. Yeah, she's denying that she asked Chris what his position is. She said, again, just to recap, she said, the Quran clearly denies the crucifixion of Jesus. Do you agree? Chris said, no, I don't agree. I don't agree that it clearly denies the crucifixion. Then he explains why. And then she, no, why are you misrepresenting my position? Why are you attacking my position? Why are you disagreeing? You asked me for my position. We're not talking about your position. You asked me for my position. No, I didn't. Why are you? You know we're talking about. We're talking about my position. This is just insanely stupid at this point.
I kind of understand where Surah 4 verse 34 came from. Probably from a lady like that.
I'm glad you said it.
Yeah, if
I
Chris,
can say it
if
'cause
Chris,
I'm a girl.
yeah, I know. If Chris had said it, or Jai had said it, or Issa had said it, it'd be messed up.
I'm not asking you to engage.
Well, then stop asking me questions about what I think. You ask me what I think.
About my position. I'm talking to you. What
Why are
do
you
think
asking me about me
is
then?
to my
What does it matter
position?
what I think of the Quran says?
Okay, no problem. No more asking me questions. So I'm just going to do it.
Yeah, stop asking me questions, because apparently you don't like it.
Surah 3, verse 55. You can look at the translations. Lots of translations have to do some gymnastics here, because the word mutawafika means that Allah takes away your soul. He takes away your soul. Now, if Allah doesn't return if Allah returns your soul, then it can be in sleep. They actually believe that when you go to sleep, Allah takes your soul away, but then He puts it back and then you wake up, right? If it's used without that, without the context of sleeping and Allah takes it away and then puts it back, if it's used without that, it just means death. Allah took away, He removed your soul from you. You died. Okay. So what has happened is Muslim commentators over the centuries had to reconcile this. Wait a minute, because they believe that 4:157 is denying Jesus' death by crucifixion, but they know mutawafika means that Allah takes away your soul, but they don't want to believe, they don't want to believe at this point that Allah took away Jesus' soul, because that means He killed him. Allah killed him. So what they said was, oh, it must mean sleep. It must mean sleep. Allah took away his soul, so He took a nap. And you actually find this in the Muslim sources. Like Allah's about to take Jesus, and He's like, boom, take a nap. All right, now I'm taking you out. Now I'm taking you out. It's like so insanely stupid, and it's obvious what's going on here. but she's just here mocking the whole thing.
Imam Malik says that it's not death. Okay.
Just a little sleep.
Yes.
Okay. And then he was raised out the atmosphere. He was raised out the atmosphere.
Yes.
Okay, so he starved.
Yeah, but guess who says it is? Guess who says it is death? Ibn Abbas says that it's death.
Yeah, so you take Imam Malik or you take Ibn Abbas.
Yeah.
By the way, Ichi, your prophet said that Ibn Abbas is Turjuman al-Quran. Ibn Abbas is the explainer of the Quran.
Okay, is that the
wait. Oh, okay. So there's more. Wait. There's more.
When Elijah went up,
So you put him into a little bit. Wait. Let's put this all together. Wait. Let's put this all together. Wait. There's a whole thing here. So first of all, Allah lets them think He's being crucified, but He's actually not.
No problem.
Instead, He gets put in a little sleep that looks like He's dead, but He's not. Trust me, He's not dead. Then He raises him up and presumably just lets him suffocate to death as He gets out the atmosphere. No. Where's Allah? I'm debating 3 or 4 of them now. So where's Allah?
I'm gonna wrap it up right now. Okay, so
Allah has a physical place.
This is what happens when Islamianity comes and debates Muslims. Okay, they're not actually Christians. All right,
I was the one that knew my own tradition. She had no idea.
I'll let you speak. Let me finish.
Moses had no idea.
I'll let you speak. Let me finish. He comes here and he talks to me about the Islamic position. Oh, do you think that he was deprived of oxygen? Sir, do you not believe that Elijah was risen up into the heavens by God?
Oh, okay. You raising your hand?
What's the point of the nap? He
Yeah,
could
I know.
have just lifted him up as is.
So
Yeah,
the way that
but by the way, that's the problem though, right? It's what's the point of Allah having Jesus take a nap? There's no point whatsoever. But the only point is they don't want to say it means Allah killed him, and so the only other thing the word can mean is took a nap. And so they say, yeah, he must have taken a nap. Why? Because otherwise Allah killed him. Weird stuff.
But also, what is the... Sorry, go on, Chris.
Just so just to make this clear, because she's interpreting this as, oh, I'm denying miracles, which is not what I'm doing. What I'm trying to get at here is that she has to take an extremely ad hoc position about what these verses mean in the Quran. Whereas what I'm seeing is actually you can explain this in a much more simpler way. But she's like, no. It looked like he was being crucified, but he had a bit of a nap. Then he was raised. Then you would have to add more to that it was him raised in a miraculous way. And I guess you'd have to say that he was given a resurrected body or some supernatural body that survives the raising of him to Allah, right? I'm just showing you what you have to add there to make that theory work, which I think is a lot, right? And it's also kind of funny, yeah? Especially when you can just say, actually, no, he's not denying the crucifixion, so...
It's also a question I've always wanted to ask Muslims and also here. What is the point of Allah putting the likeness of Jesus on someone else so that the Jews think he's someone else, so that then they put that someone else on the cross? Just lift him up as is without all this other gymnastics.
I think Itchy here would have to say, well, since Allah had Jesus take a nap, He didn't want anyone disturbing Jesus or waking him up out of that nap. So He had someone else be crucified in His place so that people would think they're crucified and wouldn't wake him up.
So they leave him alone.
They don't want to wake him.
But why the nap? Why the nap? There's no need for the nap. Just lift him up.
Yeah.
I'm even granting that the oxygen problem got solved, Allah solved. Okay. Why the nap and why someone else on the cross that looks like Jesus? Why?
Well,
because then that creates deception for people who think, even his disciples and his mom who thought that really happened to him. Why the grief? Why all that extra grief for them?
Well,
They believe this.
if you have to go up to the Islamic heaven, that's like, way up there. So it's one heck of a journey. So, I mean, think between, all the 7 heavens, each one is a 500-year journey. So Jesus had a long journey ahead of him and, needed a good nap beforehand. And what's funny, we're making fun of all this stuff. I think Itachi would say something like this, right? She would have to say something like this because she just doubles down, no matter how absurd the interpretation is, she just doubles down on it. And so, let's see.
Sister, you're not understanding mockery. Let me explain. I'm not saying to you. One second. I'm not saying to you. I deny miracles. Obviously, I believe miracles. I'm a Christian.
God could sustain him and make sure that he's
What I'm saying is that you are reading into the Quran things that are not there. All it says is that he is taken to him and he is at his throne. So Jesus is at Allah's throne.
Beautiful. So you
Really?
What does it say at his throne?
The next verse.
What does it say at his throne?
Okay. Does it not say in the next verse, Isa was taken to Allah?
It says raised him to himself, guys.
I don't know. If I went to where you are,
Yeah, where's Allah?
am I in the same location as you?
If you go to a campfire,
No, sorry, he was around the throne. He was like somewhere near it, right?
If you're going towards a campfire, are you inside the campfire?
Sorry?
If you go towards a campfire, are you inside the campfire?
The campfire has multiple meanings.
Okay, so I'm talking about
Does the throne have multiple meanings?
The fire, sir, the fire.
No, you said campfire. Campfire can refer to an area
I'm referring to the fire.
where you make camp.
I'm referring to the fire.
Right, so the fire in a
Inside the
campfire.
If I say I'm going towards the fire, am I
That's
in
a
the
bad
fire?
example, it's actually.
Right, because you're not
Campfire can mean both the area and the actual fire, depending on how you use it. Can throne or can location mean.
Seems like now she's just given up and is just trying to
Say all of the words.
Yeah, it sounds like she's just trying to sound dominant. I think they call this sea lining or something.
Different things in different contexts.
It's okay. You can start panicking now. We can get to Muhammad in the Bible.
I think that's a big panic, Itachi. Can I summarize this and then we move on to your topic?
We're done with that. We're going to get to Muhammad.
No, let's summarize, and then you can do your thing.
It's just one final statement.
Yeah, one final statement.
All right, you
want me to go first and go?
No, you go
first.
Okay, absolutely
You go
fine.
first and-
Absolutely. Beautiful. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think we've seen some pretty embarrassing.
Beautiful.
He had to shut her up.
No matter just. By the way, the verse says, "I will raise you to myself." It's very clear.
Yeah. So if Allah's above the throne, then where is he?
Wherever he? Just like if I say, "Come to me," like come to means you come to my house where I am in the room that I am.
Yeah, and if she's saying, oh, well, if I say you went to the campfire, that wouldn't mean you went in the campfire, right? Okay, well, if I said come to the campfire, it obviously wouldn't mean billions of miles away from the campfire, right? It would be pretty darn close, like right beside it, right?
Yeah,
And so
it
if
would be
Allah
in the
raised it,
vicinity.
if Allah raised him to himself, that obviously would mean really, really, really far away from Allah.
Embarrassing fails here. First of all, Itachi had no idea at all about Exodus chapter 4, verses 6 to 7. Didn't actually know the full account of Moses' sign, the third sign, putting the hand in and taking it out. That to me is embarrassing. Sister, you need to learn our scriptures before you critique them and contrast them. When I looked at the Islamic dilemma and I wrote my book, because yes, I am going to plug my book, of course I am, I looked at your tradition and I
Link is in the description, everyone.
studied it and I gave it the due respect. But for some reason, I don't see that reciprocated. And I find that in poor taste. Now, you tried conscious edits, you couldn't give accurate examples, you tried going to the crucifixion, that turned it into an entire mess because you couldn't even present the narrative in a coherent way, which makes sense because no Muslim has presented the crucifixion narrative in a coherent sense from an Islamic paradigm. So again, the Islamic dilemma, there are contradictions. Jesus is said to be the son in a real sense of the Father in the Gospels. The Quran in Surah Al-Ma'idah verse 18 denies it. The Quran makes it very clear that Allah has no children. And yet, the Jews bring this up. I'm just giving you a summary. So, I have given you these examples. She doesn't have anything for this. She doesn't have no response, no nothing. Ladies and gentlemen, I think the Islamic dilemma stands.
Beautiful.
Okay,
Thank you very much. He brought us a bunch of random examples to machine gun up at the end because we didn't want to actually deal with them.
Still now then.
I'm not done.
Don't interrupt. Let her.
Okay, that was really me. That was really me. Excellent. There you go.
How many mics does she need?
I bet.
Got like 7.
She needed progressively more mics.
Hey, no more mics. No more mics.
So he wants to bring up all of these examples at the end because he knows he'd get scolded on every single one of them if he brings it up. It's okay. No worries, Chris. It's okay. You can panic about it. He embarrassed himself trying to bring up something about Allah sustaining an individual having oxygen and no oxygen, forgetting that Elijah and Elisha were raised up into the heavens according to the Bible. It's okay, Chris. We get it. It's fine. According to
We don't have the Islamic view of heaven.
according to what he was saying, he didn't want to actually deal with the substance. He said it out of his own mouth. He wants to go into the little nitty-gritty parts of the story, not actually deal with the actual substance itself, but whether or not it was leprous or not leprous, according to the Sunni account. Okay? So, Chris, it's okay. People are made by your little book. It's honestly, I watched the lecture that he had for it as well. I did watch it. I watched the lecture. Not that great. Not a fan. It was okay.
Well, and right after right after that, they say, okay. She says, okay, now we'll debate Muhammad and the Bible. So,
Yeah.
guys, did anyone catch anything remotely resembling a serious response to the Islamic dilemma? Like something that should make us go, maybe this Islamic dilemma isn't as strong an argument as we thought it was. I saw nothing. I didn't see anything. Like not one thing. Not one thing that was even close.
Yeah, no, and that wasn't even. She's not even trying to like win Christians over with this discussion. She knows that her arguments are pathetic. They're weak. She's just trying to keep whatever Muslim believes in this, conscious, because we know that Muslims are getting doubts, so many doubts over the Islamic dilemma. And Libiano told us about that. Others have mentioned as well that it's just happening. All the Muslims are catching doubts over this. So she's not even really no Christian watching this. Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
I was just saying that someone at the corner today came up to me and said he was an ex-Muslim and he brought his son with him and he was telling me Islamic dilemma. Yeah. He said there's no answer to that.
Exactly. So this is not going to convince anyone to join her side. This is just meant to like a cope fest for try to keep people within Islam. But even with that, nothing she said worked at all. Like we went through all of it. There was nothing that she said that we were like, oh yeah, that's a pretty good point. Or like, oh yeah, maybe she meant this. And if you say it like that, then yeah, maybe you can see where she's coming. No, nothing. Everything was just terrible. I can see why she was the second runner-up to Korah. She wasn't like his top earner. She's the second one. And now he's got another one, underneath Itachi. But that's, he's just going to keep losing them. And on that, I wanted to say as well, like everybody who's on this trip with Malik, everybody who's traveling with him right now, they should know that everybody who he's traveled with in the past, like Libiano, Warner, all these guys, there's like a 99% chance that in Korah as well, 99% chance that Itachi's going to be under the bus one day, and everyone else that he's in his room with talking about bringing girls to his hotel or whatever, girls on their laps, all those people, they're all going to be everything that he did is going to be used against them. You remember when I brought these women and they had them sit on your lap? I did that just like we said to Libiano. I paid for the Airbnb. Now you owe me the money back for that. That's the type of person he is. He's going to ruin all those relationships. Going to be ruined, and it's just going to end terribly for him and everyone around him. So with that being said, my final thing is just guys, leave Islam. Come to the Lord Jesus, and that's all there is. All there is to it.
Hey, look at this. Here's Itachi's assessment of her trip to Speaker's Corner. Look, 499 likes, aka 499 people who either didn't bother to watch or are bots paid for by Malik or are just incredibly stupid and brainwashed. Look at this. We came, we saw, we conquered. Speaker's Corner. Alhamdulillah. Welcome to Fantasyland. Population 499 apparently.
So she only debated me, I think, from what I understand.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, then because a little later hijab came and Malik didn't want to be around that.
You have to run away.
Yeah, Malik ran away from hijab. Yeah.
I mean, this is getting bad. They think the new style of woman over talking, of being disrespectful, lots of hand gestures, calling people names, saying "oh my God" and being dramatic, and then going to the Times of Israel for a primary source and saying rabbinic Jews think their Torah is corrupted. And yes, bring us a source. She looks at her phone and brings no source. Oh, I saw a clip. Bring us the clip. She brings no clip. And she thinks that's conquering. It's delusion. It's so delusional. I'm seriously thinking of mental illness diagnosis. Like, it's that level. A delusion is a firmly held belief that reality is different. Like, if you really think the sky is green. This is the level of delusion if you think you've conquered. I've really tried to sit back and think, okay, I know Chris. I know his knowledge. I like him. But I'm going to step back and pretend that I don't know any of this. This was awful, Itchy. So awful. And the fact that you don't know this is not serving your religion, putting the Isa hat on. It's not serving Islam for you to be doing this right now. You remember what happened to Korah? It only took a few months. I'm thinking your shelf life is even shorter. Mm-hmm. And I don't know about Sushi, whatever her name is, Maki. That shelf life is going to be even less.
Yeah.
That's what I have to say.
Yeah, the shelf life of Sushi is not very long, guys. Not very long. Yep, that's just facts. So, I have to say, still, at the end of the day, love the new generation of dawah clowns who are just violating Islam left and right, and everything is just, I don't know. It's like there's always, especially with the women. With the women, there's like part of me. Chris, there was a really weird part of me that was like, I hope Itachi here does a really awesome job against Chris. Yeah. A better job than any male Muslim has done against the Islamic dilemma, just because it undermines Islam. If a woman does the best job, then Islam is just screwed because she's intellectually deficient.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
that's-
Matter of fact,
well,
if I was talking to you, I might have been like, Chris, just throw this one. Just let her just crush.
just throw in the towel, Chris.
Yeah, I'm unpublished. I'm unpublishing my book. I've been destroyed by Cora. She would be catapulted as the person who finally destroyed the Islamic dilemma. She would be catapulted, and we'd be like, wow, I guess Muhammad's wrong about women being intellectually deficient. She did a better job than all the guys did. With that said, her arguments were so absolutely terrible and pathetic that it wouldn't have worked, and she's kind of making me think Muhammad was right. Anyway.
You can't say
So,
that.
it's interesting. Hopefully this is what I'm going to do my master's thesis on, is the Islamic dilemma. So I'm actually hoping to use your book, Chris. I'm going to be citing your book, and I'm going to look at all the Islamic sources, and maybe we'll talk about it once I get done. Like it's going to be probably 50 pages, because that's what you need to do. And I'm presenting that. I'm like, is there an engagement academically? Can we academically engage through this? And looking at the Islamic sources, looking at the counter arguments.
The Windows.
What are you saying?
So
sorry about that. I thought I was muted.
Yeah, you thought wrong. You're sitting there talking about Windows or something.
There's a fly. We had to kill a fly, and I thought it came through with the windows. I thought I closed the window. I'm like,
The fly landed on the mute button and unmuted you.
You got to dunk it. Dunk it on the
You
mute
got to
button.
dunk it, man. Dunk that fly. Dunk that. Help me. Help me. Shut up.
Make a cup of tea and dunk it in there.
I can finish Issa's thought though.
Dunk the little bugger in there.
I can finish his thought. Why do they think that they're helping Islam with this? What are they thinking? Why are they doing this, guys?
I know a movie. You should all watch it. It's called
Shooting Quran that like Salman Rushdie.
Hey, Issa, you can make
you're cute.
Yeah, you could take your master's thesis and turn it into a book titled "The Sufi Response to the Islamic Dilemma," and you'd be like, all we do is spin around until we're dizzy and then we forget about it.
So you're right that it's so funny. I just think that it needs to be academically engaged, from an academic perspective. We need to take this seriously and actually look at it and try to give the best argument we can for it. I think that is the sincere approach forward. But I want to say my feeling about all of these da'is, it's bad. I agree with what Jai and DOC and all the other colleagues on the panel. It's horrendously bad, because it's the same thing that we experienced with Junior. There is this dawah script. I didn't know that it existed, but then I saw it and I'm like, wow, they literally, and it's every single so-called apologist goes to these same sources. It's the same kinds of narrative. There's no critical thinking. It's there was some apologist at one time, and they built a website and they just go to that website to engage all these questions, and they're all bad. The answers are just terrible. And what we heard today was made up stuff, deflections, lack of knowledge, particularly about Judaism and Christianity. You're talking to debate and try to defeat Christianity and Judaism, and you don't know either of these traditions at all. And it's really, really embarrassing. And the strange thing is it's all the same talking points. It's the corruption. It's the general confirmation. It's literally the same. Every single one are using the same talking points. It's like a palette swap. You see a different face, but it's always the same delivery. It's the same package. And I don't know what to say. I was just kind of horrified. You came all the way to the United Kingdom, and this is what you brought? The same tired stuff that's completely disproven? What is your point? Your point is, the Quran is correcting the Bible. Okay, we have a response to that. If that's true, then the Quran needs to be vastly longer than 114 surahs. It can't be poetry. It's got to be some type of prose. It's got to have that, and it's also got to be very specific. It can't be vague. It can't be generic. It has to be specific and targeted if you're going to make that argument. So that argument's refuted. The other argument is that you don't like what's in the text because it doesn't fit with your literalistic view of the Quran. Okay, well, that's just too bad. It's I'm sorry that's tears, but that's not a good response either. So saying you don't like what it says, and then you say, well, guess what? The Quran fixes this thing. Well, I don't know. I don't see how it fixes it. It's just you're claiming that it does that. You say that you think that the Torah and the Zabur and the Injil are corrupted because I'm going to use liberal academic sources. Okay, well, liberal academic sources will be used against Islamic thought process. Are you willing to be fair and consistent, or are you just going to use it for things that you don't like? And it's just for thee, I will use sources for thee, but not for me. I'm like, is that your position? Is that what you want? Also, you have to face the position if you're going to take the corrupted position. Is God wicked or weak? Is that what you want? It's every single stratum of taking this position, there's really no real net benefit you get. You're always going to get a net loss, and you're going to get a massive net loss. You're going deep into debt taking these positions. So it's where is the win that you get for any of this? You embarrass yourself, you don't have good logical arguments that are tight, and you're just it's this is what I think about. It's like you're going to like a tournament, you go to a karate tournament, and then you lose to a particular opponent, and you're like, next year, like, I'm going to beat that opponent, and you come back and you use the same techniques that you used the last year, and then your opponent defeats you, and then you keep coming back to the tournament every year and you keep doing the same thing. And I'm just like, what they say is like, what is that word? It's like if a person does the same thing over and over again and doesn't change, they're kind of like crazy. It's like it's like a kind of an idiom like that. They're insane. And they keep repeating the same thing over and over again. And I'm like, is this what you want to do? Is this how you want to present Islam? And then also, but what they do is they also make Islam look really, really cruel. They make Islam look evil. They make it look cruel. They make it look mean. And they make it look like, in order to win, these arguments, they make Islam look like a very vile religion. Like, for example, I was thinking about David debating against Jake Bracatella. Jake is like, I'm going to use all these ad hominems. I'm going to insult David and make him look bad. But really what happened is Jake looked bad. He looked mean. He looked cruel. And then and there was like some conversation about forgiveness. Or no, that was maybe with Daniel Hakikachu. There was a debate with Daniel Hakikachu. They're all kind of the same thing. They're all kind of quite vile. But Daniel Hakikachu said, the person asked, do you hate your colleague? And David is like, Daniel's like, I hate David because he hates Palestinians, which he never said. And it's this fraudulent thing that they do. And then David said, no, I don't have those feelings because I have the love of Christ. And I'm like, who's winning this debate? Like, ethically speaking, David wins the debate. He comes off more ethical. He comes off more clean. Daniel comes off as aggressive. He comes off barbaric. And I'm like, I don't know. I think you can win with character. And from what I've seen these debates, the character is much better than that.